A couple years ago, I had a new driveway put in, and my driveway is over 200 feet long, so that was not cheap. And then I found out that the ordinary style of chains that you would put on your tractor for plowing snow or snow blowing really tear up the driveway. You can see here the marks that it leaves when those chains bite in and give you that traction. But for the money that I have into this driveway, I'm really not happy with those marks. So I got these TerraGrip Traction Belts that should give me that same traction without tearing up my driveway like a normal chain would. So I'm going to show you how to get them installed, and then we'll go find out if they really work. First thing you're going to want to do is just lay it out on the floor. Make sure that the chains are all straight, nothing's twisted. Make sure that the belts are all aligned in the correct way and that none of them are torn or broken or anything. These are brand new, so they all look good. The first thing that we're gonna do to ensure that we can get these belts on as tight as possible, so we're gonna let all the air out of the tire. That'll shrink the diameter of the tire just a little bit, enough so that when we install the belt as tight as we can, when we reinflate the tire, they'll get even more tight, and that'll give us the best traction possible. I do want to say I love this tire inflator from Jayco. There'll be a link down in the description, but it makes emptying these tires really convenient. You can just clip on the hose, it'll stay on there. And then it's got this button on the side, and that just lets all the air out. Now you could install these traction belts by laying them out behind the tire and then reversing over them and then laying them up over the tire and doing everything on the ground like that. But I don't really have the space in this garage, and I try to run the tractor as little as possible while in here. This is a heated and insulated garage, so I don't want all those fumes in there while I'm working. So my preferred method is to jack up the tractor, get the tire off the ground, and then just wrap the traction belts or even the chains around whatever you're using. And then you can rotate the tire around, and it's easier to move the chains on there when you have it on there too. So I'm gonna get this up in the air a little bit and then we'll get them on. Now you can just slide the traction belts underneath the tire. You want to make sure that the rivets are head side down. So that's the bottom of the rivet there facing up. And then you want to make sure that your latch is on the outside of the tire and that just the normal hook right here is on the inside of the tire. Now you can just lift these traction belts up, rotate them around the tire. I think this way is so easy. Now make sure the belts are centered on the tire. On this tractor, there's a linkage back here on the inside of the tire. You're just gonna make sure that the belts don't get hung up on that linkage. Now we can come in here to the inside of the tire, grab your chain here. You have a couple different options of where you can hook the chain to. We just want to put that on the very first one here. So there you go, you're just on the first link there. And now things start to get a little more difficult here, but we gotta try and pull these belts around the tire. Try and get them as close as possible because we need to get this latch into this first link here. All right. So there we have the latch into that first link. Now you can kind of push the belts around a little bit, and then we can spin this latch over and hook it into the chain back there. And that gets us pretty tight, but as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap there. And I think we can get this a little tighter. So I'm just gonna kind of take and try and separate these belts a little bit further. Try and get them a little bit closer down on this end. And then we'll go back on the inside and try and move that hook into the second link. Get this as tight as possible. Since the outside chains are still together, now we can rotate the tires so that this hook is in an easier spot to get to. That's one of the things I like about lifting them, is you can get this out to where you need it. But now we just want to try to unhook this. Just be real careful to not let up any tension on these belts. If you let up, they are going to want to retract back to where they were. All right, now we got it onto the second link there. We can go back around to the front here. And now we just want to try and get these belts spread out a little bit again, as best as possible. Make sure that we have a little slack in the chain where these are. And then we can get that tightened up. And we were able to get 2 more links on this one. So now you can see those belts are nice and tight to the tire. And then that will get even more tight once I fill the tire back up. So that should be perfect. Now that we got these traction belts as tight as possible, I can fill the tire back up. Clip that part on. There we go, 10 PSI. Now let's get it back on the ground. It should be all ready to try out. And there you have it. These TerraGrips worked great. And I know it's hard to see in the video, but like I said, that hill is actually very steep. If I didn't have anything on these tires, I'd be slipping the whole way. I probably wouldn't even be able to make it. And knowing that these won't tear up the driveway puts my mind at ease. I have another tractor that has a snowblower on it, and right now I have chains on that, so I'm definitely going to be ordering a set of these to put on that tractor because I really don't want to hurt my driveway anymore. If you're looking for a great alternative to the standard tire chains, this is a great option. I'll be honest, they do take a little bit of effort to get on as tight as possible, but I think it's definitely worth it. You just have to do it once for the season, so I don't think it's that big a deal. But you can please let me know down in the comments what your opinion is of these. And I got a ton more content planned, so please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate a like, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks. Wait for this air compressor to be done before I finish this.